13 strings underneath when I'm not going to play them. No. Can you hear that? Okay, I have to play it with my little finger, so I have to have a slightly longer nail so that I can go underneath and play. This is like a basic, this sounds very much like a harp and tuned to different scales. When I strike a note on the top, if I have tuned the instrument properly, because the sound cannot sustain for a very long time, so what happens is when I strike a note on the top string, if I have tuned it properly, this string underneath, which is tuned to that particular note, it vibrates. So these are called the vibrating or the sympathetic strings, which serves to basically continue the sound. About Indian music, sitar is a very old instrument. In our Hindu mythology, the goddess of learning is goddess Saraswati. I don't know whether the students out here have seen any pictures. You have? Of goddess Saraswati? Okay. She has an instrument in her hand which is called the veena. So this is a very old, obviously very old instrument. And the sitar is a derivative from the veena. A lot of changes, of course, made over the years, over the centuries by a lot of people to its present shape. I have to keep tuning the instrument even as I'm playing. So, even during a concert, in Indian music, there's a very informal atmosphere. It's not like going to Western classical music, where you go all properly dressed up and sit silently. Indian music involves a lot with the audience too. So I want the kids out here also to be involved. Tell me a few songs perhaps which I can later reproduce to you. It is said that Indian music has a long history. I don't want to go too detailed into the history, but just narrate a few incidents or a few stories. Like one great musician who lived in the 16th century, one of the greatest musicians we all admire and respect, he was Mia Tansing. He is considered to be one of the greatest musicians and a trendsetter in his own way. Indian music, they say, when played, it could bring rains, as in when you played a particular melody, it could even bring rains, or it could light up lamps. That's the strength of music. So it was said that once when Tansen was singing a particular melody, it would start raining, or he could even light up lamps with all the beautiful melodies that he created. Now, another particular very important feature of this instrument is, like when I can strike a note. Now, one way to easily identify a person who plays the sitar is by looking at his fingers. I play with one finger on the right and 3 fingers on my left hand. When you see closely, I'm sure the students here are able to see. You can see these marks out here. By playing it over and over again, I have to have these marks on my fingers. And on the right finger, I wear a kind of a plectrum, so that when I can strike it, not with a bare hand, but with a plectrum. This is called a mizrach. So when I take this off, you will see a kind of callus. What does this look like? A snake? Snake's eyes, yeah. What happens is when I put this on, because of the pressure, there's a kind of callus which grows, and I have to wear it. I need to practice at least 6 to 8 hours every day. They say that I used to practice about 12 hours before, but now not as much, that boy. So, when when you look at the fingers, as I said, that's one easy way to know a person who plays the sitar. You always have these marks on these fingers. The important aspect of this instrument is that I can play a note, or I can also pull the string, which is not found in any other instrument like. This is the posture for the sitar. By pulling the string, I can take the next note. So the practice is basically how much to pull. Some people, of course, when you start, you don't know how much to pull, but over years of practice, I've been practicing for the last 25 years. So by years of practice, constant practice, you can know how much to pull to get the next note. So this is one of the main features of this particular instrument. I'm sorry, I just put the fret a little on top, so it's basically out of tune. Get it back. I can go. How many of you here have seen the movie Sound of Music? A lot of you? Okay, tell me one song from that. You know this song? Can you sing with me, please? Whoever knows, can you sing with me, please? Along with me? So as you see, Western classical music also has the same 7 notes as Indian notes. In Western classical music, you call them Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, right? In Indian music, the same, we call it as Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, Pa, Dha, Ni. So we have the same 7 notes all over the world. We have music. We can hear music in every sphere of life. We can hear this morning chirping of the birds, or somebody who has a very melodious voice. For us, everything is music. It's the greatest gift that we have, that God has given us. It's the language which everybody can understand, everybody can feel. You don't need to know perhaps Brazilian language to like Brazilian music. Indian music similarly can be understood, can be appreciated, has been appreciated by people all over the world. This is from a state in the northern region of India, Rajasthan. Now, each state has its own folk tradition. So what I'm going to play is basically a short folk tune. As I said, I have to keep tuning the instrument even as I'm playing sometimes because it's going out of tune whenever I pull the string. Now these things here, these pegs are used for tuning, and these few things here are used for the final tuning of the instrument.